The Bracero program was an institution that forever impacted the lives of Mexican field workers. It was created during a time of struggle for both the United States and Mexico. During this time period, the United States was engaged in World War II, resulting in deployment of a large sum of its working men. The remaining population was mobilized to work in urban-based wartime industries, leaving the field unattended. Mexico, on the other hand, was having trouble employing its citizens. Massive haciendas were broken up into small individual holdings by President Cardenas. As a result, harvest yields were falling dramatically because small individual holdings were less productive than large plantations. Both countries turned to each other for help, leading to the creation of the Bracero program, allowing millions of Mexican men or braceros to come to the United States to work on short-term agricultural contracts. The Bracero program was promising to income-seeking Mexican workers. From the work agreement between the worker and his employer, the worker would pay for his food, medical insurance, Mexican Social Security payments, and any outside purchases. In return, the employer would be responsible for transportation to and from reception centers and the daily job, contracting fees, tools and equipment, hygienic housing, occupation risk insurance, wages, adequate food, and any additional paperwork. From 1942 to 1964, more than 4.5 million contracts were signed, creating a program that extended through more than 30 states. Braceros made money and employers profited from their labor. However, this was not a total win-win situation. Braceros had to put up with the inhumane mistreatment from their employers to make their living. To employers, braceros were not human, and their treatment reflected that. They were considered dirty and carriers of disease by health officials who claimed that their uncleanliness was a result of their dirty living habits. However, the braceros were not at fault. They were forced to live in converted chicken coops, barns, stables, and tents despite being promised clean living quarters. Most of the time, the braceros' housing facilities lacked running water, sewers, toilets, or any facilities for bathing, bringing disease to the living quarters. Not only were their living conditions unsafe, their work conditions were unsafe as well. Because braceros were paid by amount, they had to work at a quick pace, so precaution when working with dangerous equipment was often neglected. Accidents were bound to happen. What made matters worse is that the occupation risk insurance was not covered by the employer as promised. Braceros were forced to put up with this mistreatment to make money. If the braceros brought their complaints to their employers, their contracts were simply terminated and they were deported back to Mexico. The Bracero program was a systemic enslavement of Mexican men who were desperate to work. Although they did earn a living, they were forced to risk too much for a wage that was simply not worth it.